leaders create legacy of impact and income through the channel of entrepreneurship and do more good in the world. You will get access to all our amazing speakers today and walk away with great wisdom and inspiration so that you can level up yourself and your business to the next level. All right, everybody, welcome back to another beautiful event here at the Life School, brought to you by the Life School. I'm so excited to be back with you and another amazing lineup of guests. And today we're going to speak about elevating your leadership. That is something that us as leaders and entrepreneurs are always looking to learn and grow, whether it's our own personal leadership or whether you have a team or you have clients that you're serving. We know that leadership is one of those grateful things that we all get to really inspire. We can create the most impact in the world, and that's really what our community is all about. So thank you again so much for joining. Those of you that are also streaming live in all the different channels, welcome everyone. Feel free to actually, a lot of our speakers speak. Should be a very conversational summit, so let us know in the chat. Any questions or any insights that you are getting as you're watching, wherever you're watching the summit, so that we know to personalize this information to you as well. And here at the Life School, we help purpose-driven leaders to build a legacy company that does good in the world through the operations via branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team. Our vision here is to empower purpose-driven entrepreneurs and business leaders to use their life's purpose through legacy entrepreneurship. And then our mission is to become the most influential, impactful global community in purposeful entrepreneurship and leadership. And lastly, our values are community, connection, service, and contribution. So without further ado, I'm very, very honored to host this summit and also bring on my virtual stage today all the amazing speakers that are joining. So hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming on. And thank you so much for sharing all the amazing work that you do out there in the world to impact the world and really help the world become a better place. But most importantly, you have, I'm sure, used your work as your vocation also. So I'm sure that it's very purposeful. It gives you a lot of, also it does good to other people. So having said that, I would love to welcome my first guest speaker, Jennifer Orezio, to the virtual stage. Jennifer, thanks so much for coming on. And if you can share with us a few of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work that you are out there called to do and feel that you are so passionate about in the world.
Thank you. I help people really understand and put tangibility to their soul and their soul of their business and understand their business consciousness IQ. And I think some of the most memorable moments are those moments for me where the light bulb goes off in my own head and I can see where I've been holding myself separate. One of those big things was I remember talking to someone about my services and just talking to them generally and then talking about what they needed. And I kept going, oh, well, you could talk to so-and-so and you could talk to so-and-so, you can talk to so-and-so. And they're like, no, I don't think you understand. I want to work with you. And I realized, wow, maybe I should really have a lot more worth to actually say yes when people want to work with me. So that's been a huge moment. That happened about 20 years ago. So long time in business.
I love your journey, and I love the journey of personal growth and development, and us, especially as women leaders, rise, of us really understanding those gifts that we have been handed from others so we can really value them in the service of others, right? Because when we start to value ourselves is when other people also value us. So it's that beautiful cycle and that inner work that sometimes is needed. That we all go through, and I see this actually happening with every level and level of stage of growth that we go through, right? I mean, we might have figured it out maybe at that level and phase and stage of business growth that we might be in, but if we're creating more impact in the world, or going for bigger goals, or always expanding and moving on to the next level, it feels as if, those things always kind of sneak in there. So I think it's a work that we do always, that's always in process and in evolution, just like we are as humans. But that is so interesting. Business IQ. So tell me more about that. what are some of the things that we need to know around that, and what are some of the tools that you also use?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
definitely.
each one of us has a business consciousness IQ, right? And how we determine that is where are the energy leaks in your business? So one could be money, right? And this shows up if you kind of believe that your clients or your clients are making more money than you are. It also happens out when you're discounting your services. Another one is undervaluing your talents. This often happens when you don't know your zone of genius. Another one is actually war with your business. If you're at conflict with your business, that shows up in your life like, oh my God, I got to do this again. Oh my God, I don't want to work in my business, or you feel unclear. And the last one is really about the energy of your business. And that's really about how you are operating on your energetic level. And this shows up with a low IQ when you're feeling exhausted all the time. And so, what I teach people is about really understanding their energy leaks and then the tools that can close those energy gaps so they can put more consciousness into their business.
Mm, that is beautiful and powerful. And I think we're all nowadays, especially that there's many ways to build a business, and you get to pick your way, right? Something that's aligned
Yeah.
with your unique gifts and talents, and that applies, that makes sense for you, because we know so many people that have built businesses that they hate, right?
Yeah.
So, what is the point of that? And really understanding where those gifts lie is really important in our journey as well. So, I love the work you do, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing thus far everything that you come back to you at the end for more amazing insight from you. Thanks again.
Perfect.
All right, moving on to my next guest speaker, Michaela Gafen-Stone. Michaela, thank you so much for coming on, and thanks so much for coming in with service, right? And reminding us to back up our computers, because as busy entrepreneurs, this is something that I personally always forget. And when something happens, we can lose all our amazing work, right? And a lot of sweat and tears and energy that we have put into those things that we have saved. So thank you so much for coming in, leading with value, and welcome today. Looking forward to getting to know you better as well.
Thank you very much for having me here. So yes, I did start with everybody back up your computers, because I, of course, did not, and just had a computer crash and lost everything. So don't be like me. Um, so I am a board certified behavior analyst, and I'm also very happy to use human design. One is very science-based and one is considered less so. And I use them as a continuum when I'm working with people, because the human design is something that you get to be the scientist. You experiment with it. So I have no problem with incorporating these two things. Now, what do I do with them though? Well, my main focus is parenting, and I do parenting reimagined. Now, what's that got to do with a summit like this one? Everything, actually, because entrepreneurs are so busy, so focused on everything that you want to get done and the legacy and so on. But who's the legacy for? And if you have children, they're a feature. And sometimes they feel left behind or a little bit lost because there's so much going on and you're so busy. And, who knows what the family configuration is? This works for men as well as for women. But what I aim to bring to people is techniques and systems that you can use with your child to make parenting much less of a battle. It doesn't need to be a battle, it can be fun. But to get that communication flowing so that the home life supports the entrepreneurial life.
Michaela, I love what you do, because I speak about business and parenting very often, because I see so much similarities between both. But I love your question that you kind of just gave us some food for thought, or kind of shift our mindset around. Sometimes it's so easy to kind of focus on the business side of things. And that's another, so that's always growing daily, right? But we lose focus, into all our other priorities and most important relationships, especially with our children. So I love the question you asked of who is the legacy for, to kind of give us that, okay, hold on, stop for a minute and kind of rethink some of the things that we are doing, so that we're focusing on the most important relationships in our lives as well. So I would love for you to share some insight around some of those tools and strategies that you really use on the day to day with your clients around how to build this connection. Because personally, being a parent of two, I've realized it very early on that I didn't. The only leverage I had with my kids was that connection, that really deep, meaningful relationship that we both have, so that they need someone to kind of just let out their frustration, or even if they made a mistake, to just have that open door of communication between me and them. And I felt that that was the only thing I had as a parent to leverage. So I know how important that is. But I'm just curious to see, bit back to your expertise and insight, things that you also help your clients in this very important area of parenting.
Actually, I love that you mentioned how you keep that open door of communication, because that is huge. When your kids leave home, if you want them to still talk to you, you kind of need to have that open door, and you need to have them feel that you trust them. So this is something that builds up over time, right? Decision making, it's a muscle that needs to be exercised. Do you get your kids to make decisions? Have you stopped and actually looked at your child lately, whatever the age is, and really understood who that person is? Because, for example, to keep with the teen theme, teenagers are adults in training. And what are you training them for? Who are you training them to be? And in this crazy world that we have right now, teens need more help than ever to really navigate all these difficulties. And with the post-COVID situation, kids lost some crucial years of socialization. And in its place, they got a lot of anxiety. So is your child anxious? Is this getting in the way of their progress? It's when you're a busy entrepreneur and you're all focused on moving everything ahead in these difficult times, sometimes you need to take a little break, stop and look around, look at your child. And a key that I would love to give everybody today is listen to your child, because they are going to tell you the truth more often than not. So if you get it wrong one time in 10 because you listen to your child, that's a lot better than listening to other people about your child and getting it wrong 9 times out of 10. So I have some examples for that I can give you later if you would like to hear it. But yes, that's something that I'd like to offer, is really look at your child and listen to your child.
Yeah, absolutely. Listening is one of those things, and being present overall as a parent, and that's as well, because if we're distracted as entrepreneurs, or even moms or dads, right? Because a parent, right, comes with both partners. How is it that we can actually listen to them as well? And it's a journey, right? It's a journey. Not every day is as easy as clear as straightforward line. But I think just being mindful and having that awareness is really important as well. Thank you so much, Michaela, for everything you just shared and all the amazing out there in the world as well. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Moving on to my next guest speaker, Catherine Galea, all the way from Cyprus. Catherine, welcome. Looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. You can share some of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work that you're doing today as well.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon to all of you. And yes, I am Catherine. I am based in Cyprus, and I am basically a mindfulness teacher for adults and children. Also a certified coach who work with high achievers to help them, who are sleepwalking, I would say, stressed out and close to a burnout, to transform that. It's all about transformation. And also, because I'm passionate about dance, I use dance to help people heal their life from traumas, especially women, especially those women who are people pleasers, like I used to be, and suffer from low self-confidence, low self-esteem. And yeah, I am passionate also about teaching children and parents skills to improve their communication, but I'm not going there. And I am very passionate about basically bringing more awareness. We cannot elevate our leadership, whatever that leadership is, if we are not self-aware. So for me, the most important thing is to take our leadership a step further. And that could be at home as a parent, because as a parent, you are a leader of a family, as a mom, dad, whatever. As a school teacher, you are also a leader of the class. And also at the workplace, you can be a leader, or if you run your own business, you are a leader in the community. But if we lack self-awareness, then how can we lead? If we cannot lead ourselves, how can we lead others? And unfortunately, we see a lot of leaders who are not conscious. And I'm not saying it in a judgmental form, I don't want to be judgmental. But of course, if we would like to see a better world, we need to elevate our leadership. And therefore, I would say that, self-awareness and mindfulness is a great tool to help self-awareness, and even spontaneous dance, because it brings consciousness, is definitely something to support us all.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to what you said as well, it all starts with us, but there's no judgment, because we're not always, those leaders that we really feel that we could be potentially as well on the day-to-day, right? I mean,
Yes.
there's ups and downs, right? And I think it's important for us not to have this perfectionistic, idealistic way of being a leader, always on top, always serving everyone, and all these maybe attributes that we have seen from other people that we admire in this aspect as well. So, Catherine, I love that you also bring in the element of dance and creativity into your world and journey as an entrepreneur as well. So, what are some of those tools or even lessons you also bring to the table for you that you could share with us that you feel would add value to our audience as well?
Oh, wow. One of my favorite is definitely not favorite. I always, whatever courses I teach one-to-one, something I'm very passionate about is self-compassion. So I don't know if you can call it a tool, but if we can give self-compassion, then it brings so much healing, so much gentleness, so much more awareness, and of course it will elevate us as persons. So for me, the one thing that I really work with all clients, even with children that I work with, is compassion, especially self-compassion, loving ourselves. How can we be more gentle with ourselves rather than criticizing ourselves?
Absolutely. So how do we do that, Catherine? Because I know that's, again, something that we all know is important, but it's not always easy to be self-compassionate with ourselves on our day-to-day. Some of those things that you can give us that will help us kind of have this top of mind as well.
No, it is not easy to be self-compassionate, because many of us brought up being criticized, having low self-confidence. So this is not our automatic mode. The automatic mode is to criticize, to judge. So this is why I believe, and not I believe, it is evidence that by practicing some form of mindfulness, mindful self-compassion is going to elevate, to bring more self-compassion. And it starts from maybe also just a simple mindfulness practice where we stay with ourselves and we start saying, I don't like this about myself, but I'm going to try and accept myself as I am today. And with that, if the more we practice, the more we try to bring more acceptance of how we are feeling right now, even if it's anger, heavy emotions, we are taking the first steps. And simple as that, something I practice every morning is give yourself a hug as soon as you get out of bed. This is building the muscle of self-compassion through touching ourselves, through hugging ourselves. Because when a child needs some love, what do you give them? A hug, a cuddle. Give it to yourself.
Mm. Oh, I love that. I love that. It's just so timely, actually, because I've been doing some inner child meditations myself. I think it's important to kind of reconnect with that on the day to day, especially as we tend to be so hard on ourselves as ambitious entrepreneurs or even women, right? Because we're all women here. Yeah, just reminding ourselves to kind of give ourselves the same love and advice that we could so easily give it so freely to a friend, right? For someone that we care about, or a child, since we talked about parenting today as well. So yeah, reminders and things that we need to have top of mind. And I realized also for me, in a while, I was just kind of, drawn to, I was busy, focused on so many things that I forgot to go back and kind of just recenter myself and all of that. So it's absolutely a journey. And I love the work you do. Thank you so much for everything that you've also shared with us so far as well, Catherine. Beautiful. Moving on to our next guest panel speaker, Yannick Sayeda. Yannick is an amazing member to our community for a while now, and also our community expert. And of course, she's also so passionate about the work that she does. So, Yannick, if you could share with us some of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work you're doing today in the world.
Oh,
Okay, microphone sound. All right. It's been quite a journey. And what brought me to do what I'm doing is basically because of my personal life experience and professional experience. My background is in adult education, and then I switched into HR for a while, climbed up the corporate ladder, and then finished my career as a manager in, uh, in language programs. I left a little earlier than anticipated. When we had the lockdown, that gave us a lot of time to think about things and ponder. And it just reminded me I had a little angst for quite a while. And to fill it, I was doing things on the side of my desk. So I did a lot of volunteer work with women's organization, was on several board of director. And also within my job, what I found that I was doing is that I was coaching. I was coaching. And that's what really brought the spark. That's what filled my cup more than anything else, because I felt like I was helping. Uh, because I was not just about what's in the box. You have a whole person. And what I found is that, especially women, and I specialize working with women, empowering women, is that we do not give ourselves enough credit. We don't realize how much we have to offer. For example, I would hear, and that's the first thing I work on with my client, is to remove this word from the vocabulary. I am just, I am only.
Yeah.
Because that's resonate. It doesn't matter if I work with an executive or it doesn't matter. That's something that I had to work on because I had to do it myself. And I'll give you a quick, if it's all right, a quick anecdote when I had that aha moment and I learned to appreciate all that I had to give the world. I was sent on a special assignment and I was going to be one of the project managers. Make a long story short, we had one of those workshops for all our participants, including people running it like me. We were given a piece of paper, a sheet of paper, put it, asked to write our name down on the top corner. Well, that happens all the time, thinking much of it. And then they said, okay, write something. What's your talent? What do you offer the world? Write down. And then pass your sheet to somebody else, the next one, and so on. Well, I was gobstopped. Actually, I became quite stressed. I almost cried because all I could think about was what I was doing wrong, you know, where my shortcomings were, what were my accomplishments beside my kids. I couldn't even think. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So anyway, mustered my courage, and I managed to write a couple of sentences, passed my sheet. And then I gave it to the next person. And I'm kidding you not, like my hand was shaking. Passed that sheet. And the person wrote and she wrote and she wrote. I went, oh my gosh, what is she finding wrong with me? This is what came to me first. It went around. There was 40 participants. By the time I got my sheet back, it was double-sided. I was a wreck,
Oh.
almost. And then I started to read what else people wrote to my surprise. And I'm going, oh, oh. And I could feel the tears running down. And I went,
Oh.
yes, that's me. I'd forgotten who I was.
Yeah. Oh, yay.
Never look back. That never happened again, ever.
Mm.
And that's what changed. So when I had this time during the pandemic, working from home, not seeing anybody, and I just before that, I was asked to go on a project pilot in that department for managers, leadership, coaching for leadership for managers. I was a manager. I was in there an hour. The instructor thought I was a coach. I said, no, not really. Anyway, she encouraged me to get my certification. So I did. And then I got my master coach certification. And then I had to find what my niche was. It was a given. I didn't want any woman to go through what I had gone, because I've gone through a gauntlet of challenges throughout my life, career, relationship, life challenges, and always by myself. So I had to learn how to mitigate that. And I learned also some shortcuts. And being in HR or in the organization that I work, I could see what the women were struggling with. So it was a natural thing for me to help. So my mission really,
Wow.
yeah. So
Your
that's
your
what,
story is so relatable. Yeah, your story is so relatable. I love that you share that personal story because I could just also identify with so many of the things that you shared there for so many women that maybe need to rediscover or realign themselves with kind of the next phase and stage of their lives. And maybe they don't have that roadmap that you maybe have discovered through your personal journey as well. If you could share with us your own framework, what have you learned, your own framework in the way that you also now help other women find their purpose and fulfillment that you can also share with us?
well, the first thing is to define who they are. Because most of the time, like me, is they're defined by what they're doing now and forgot what else they have to offer. So define what you have. And also, once they do, what do you want? The goals. Once that's done, the next step is to identify what is it that you're missing? Fill in the gaps. Do you need training? Do you need mentorship? Or whatever action they need to do. Build a network. Go to the next level. How to get there. So that's the clarity. So I get them from confusion to clarity by doing those two things. The next step is action. What action will be needed? Because by that time they are clear and they create their blueprint to where they want to go. Because once you know where you are, like I say, I work with women who are at a crossroads. If you're in the forest, you're lost, you don't have a compass, and I'm not talking about GPS because GPS doesn't work in the forest. But if you don't know where you are, how do you know how to get out of where you are, which direction? So that's what I do. Now you have what actions, now that you know where you are and where you want to go, which direction, what action will you take to reach your goal? That's the next step. Once it's defined, also with a timeline and some accountability, is the next step, the leap. It's okay to talk. It's not a wishful thinking. We have a roadmap. We have the blueprint. Now take the leap and do it. But they have built all that they need to get there. So I call it dial, to dial it up to the next level.
I love that. There's no GPS in that before. That's very, very, very cool. Well, thank you so much, Yannick, for all the beautiful storytelling abilities that you have, and also the amazing work that you do out there with women. I appreciate you being here and also sharing that so far. Awesome. Moving on to my next amazing. speaker, Dr. Avery Atkinson. Dr. Avery, thanks so much for coming on, and also looking forward again to know you a little bit better as well.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? Awesome.
Yeah.
As she said, I'm Dr. Avery Atkinson, affectionately known as Dr. A. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you so much, Elona, for hosting this summit and inviting me to be a part of this very cool opportunity. I am a holistic wellness practitioner. My specialty is in psychosomatics. I work with corporate companies as well as individuals, and essentially, it's a fancy way of saying that I give people wellness makeovers. I'm very passionate about how we navigate through space and time with each other by really and truly understanding those 8 dimensions of wellness and how to enhance that. So that deals with our personal, that deals with our corporate space, that also deals with community. I genuinely feel that women are amazing. And if you heal women, you heal the world. But also, men are our complement. So if you heal men, you also heal the world. So the end goal is worldwide wellness. And I facilitate that. I teach on that. I work with youth through nonprofits as well to help prevent gun violence and suicide through wellness. I do ecotherapy with them. It's lots and lots of fun. Also through A2G Wellness, I work with climate wellness and climate mental health to help kind of subside compassion fatigue. A lot of people who work in nonprofit spaces, it is very taxing because daily you're getting these stories that need your solution and it needs your energy and your support. And over time, that can feel a lot like burnout. And so I use psychosomatic practices and wellness tools to help recharge, take a break, to help pour out, to pour back in. Because I'm sure we've all heard, right? Cannot pour out from an empty cup, and oftentimes we are serving from the cup which is for us instead of serving from the saucer which is for others. So yeah, that's my little part that I'd like to leave a legacy in the world. I'd love for people to just be well.
I love that. Thank you so much, Avery. And I just wanted to let you know your voice is kind of coming in and out. So if there's something you could do over there with the tech, I would love to for you to fix that message to come clear and loud. I love the work you do also. And I love, I'm very curious around those dimensions because I love the holistic approach that you also take to not only entrepreneurs but also companies, and they need that. I think it's the era now where companies are becoming more conscious, right? So really understanding how to bring those wellness aspects and dimensions that you talked about in the workplace. I think it's definitely very, very important work for sure. So if you could share with us, Avery, what are those 8 dimensions that you teach on that you could share with us as well? Seems like maybe we have a bad connection. Okay, so okay, here we are. I think you are back, Avery. Can you hear us?
Oh, I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Now I can hear you. So I don't know if you heard my question before you had a disconnection there.
I did not. Sorry, you said that it was hard to hear, so I was like, "Oh, I'll switch to my cell phone." Not so much. I'll stay on regular Wi-Fi. Technology out here being technical. But what was your question?
No worries. That's what happens when you're live and you're spontaneous from the heart. In my summons, that's all we always do. So I love the energy of just being live and just kind of feeding off one another and really sharing that message that your heart really feels the most pulled to share with people today, right? So, and my question was around those 8 elements to wellness, 8 dimensions that you mentioned. What are those, if you can give us a little recap?
Absolutely. So our program that I like to work with is called The Ecology of Wellness. That's our signature program that we take to corporate companies. So it does help you kind of, again, navigate through those 8 dimensions. So the 8 dimensions are physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, intellectual, vocational, which would deal with your job. I don't know if I said financial already, but environmental, and then of course social, right? So as we are in life, all of those 8 dimensions work together to bring us to a full and holistic existence. If any one of those areas are not thriving and not getting what they need, then it's going to be difficult for you to really live the abundant life that you were designed to. And in that disconnect is where we feel struggle, we feel fatigue, we feel stress. Prime example, if your financial wellness isn't quite where it needs to be, it's not being nurtured properly, then that may show up in your job. Feeling like you're working, but you don't have the financial proof of what you feel like you're putting in. Also, you may be on a different side of the wheel. You may be loving your job, financially sound, but you don't have the support system that you're looking for. Your social wellness is not at its highest. So my job is to help you get all of those 8 dimensions firing on all purposes. As we know, as humans, we are trichotomic in our existence. So if one of those things are off, trichotomic meaning mind, body, and spirit, they all work together. So if one of those are off track, the whole train's not running, right? So we want to make sure that we're fully aligned. We want to make sure that we have our processes and our systems of self in place so that we can have a wonderful ecosystem, a wonderful life, and that abundance fills up so much that we can begin to share that with others. Because that's the ultimate living well, right? The ultimate process is to lift while you climb. And so we're able to help others and be a help to others as leaders when we are well ourselves. And really quick,
Dr. Avery, I would love to cut you off, but your voice still has issues. So I'm going to bring you back because I would love for you to come and share those loud and clear.
Sure.
But it seems like we're having some audio issue and you're going in and out. So I think whatever we can grasp from the message for now was great. Thank you also for sharing everything that you did. And thank you for all the amazing work you're doing out there in the world as well. Beautiful. Thanks so much, Dr. Avery. On to my last but not least speaker, Debbie Slews. I hope I said your last name correctly, Debbie. Long time no see. Thanks so much for coming on. And I also love the work you do. So if you can introduce yourself for our audience, we would love to get to know you better as well.
Yeah, thank you. So it has been a while, and actually I have to just admit here, I saw this pop up my calendar and I'm like, this has been so long, here I am. But I can speak with this with ease, and I know that we've had a couple of conversations before, so I'm just really honored. Thank you for giving this opportunity. So my expertise is vision boards. That simple. And people actually say, what? You created a business out of vision boards? Yes. I'm obsessed about vision boards. And it's one of these things that, people have heard about them for many years. In fact, people are like, oh yeah, I made one 25 years ago, or, there's people like Steve Harvey and Oprah, they swear by them. My mentor is Jack Canfield. But, it's like what's old has become new again. And the reason it's become new again is because we have all this new science. We're learning, from people that, are delving deep into understanding about neuroplasticity and neuroscience and energy work and all of that. And that's all now connecting to vision boards. So people knew that they worked, but it was sort of in this sort of woo-hoo kind of realm that we didn't really know why. So I help people, ambitious coaches, entrepreneurs, create impact and revenue using vision boards. So that's really my purpose and what I do. And how I got into this was I felt like I was meant for something bigger. I went and had a branding photo shoot. And, if who's ever listening, if you haven't had a branding photo shoot, I would highly recommend it. It's like having a vision board. It's your very first vision board, right? So, the best vision board is having one that represents your self-image. So branding, that's what a photographer does, is he pulls out the best in you. What's that 2.0 version of you? And that when you see it in print, you're like, whoa, this is what happened to me. I looked at her and I was like, I want to be her. And the photographer's like, well, you are. And I'm like, not yet. Because at that time I was still in childcare. I was a childcare director. I'm a mom of 4, a wife. But that woman that I saw in the pictures, I was like, she is a rock star. And so for the first time, I touched the magic that is in terms of imagination, the power of visualization, and seeing into the future, but adopting it into the present. So that's what I help people do as well, is see their future vision, take in the emotion, which actually changes your brain, and then promotes the law of vibration, which is the law of attraction, which many people know about. And so what you think about comes about. It's that easy.
Yeah, well, there you go, Debbie. I love the work you do, and we had a great connection when we connected earlier as well. But yeah, I agree. I mean, the power, our brain is a goal-achieving machine, and the power of it, just setting that intention is so important. So, visualizing or creating a vision board around it, I'm sure only supports the process as well. So my question to you, Debbie, from the day-to-day work that you do with this, how do we design a proper vision board? There's so much information out there around, this topic specifically as well, but based on your take, your experience, your approach, your methodology, can you give us some tips around how do we design a really good vision board that aligns with our goals and helps us actually manifest those goals and, bring those into our lives on the day-to-day?
Yeah, I love that question. So I'm going to tell you what not to do. And I think that might be a place to start because many people have created a vision board. So first off, it is about goals, but goals is secondary. So the first part is about vision. So it's beyond the goal. The goal is actually the doing, but it actually starts with the being. Who do I get to be? And actually, Jennifer's here on the call. And when we were talking about my company, I did some work with Jennifer. So I hired her as a coach. And some of the names that came up with my company about who does my company get to be was peacemaker. So oftentimes people think, well, what do I really want? So that's where you want to get into your vision board is what do I really want? And it comes up time and time again where people want contentment. I don't know if that resonates, but just to be content. So peacemaker is one of my names. Monk, which is interesting. I was like, what is that? And it's about beauty. So discovering beauty. So again, it's that sense of being. Who do I get to be? I get to be the detective. Imagine if you were just simply spending your day to discover beauty. And then the last one, which kind of surprised me when I went through this exercise with Jennifer, and she's like, where do you feel it in your body? And I felt it in my wrists. Now, I normally do not feel energy in my wrists. I usually feel it in my shoulders. It's constricted in my chest, but I felt it in my wrists. And it's because I am a ringmaster. And so I love to inspire and empower. And this is what the vision board does. So as I said, what it's not is my proven process does not encourage collage. Now, most vision boards that you see on Pinterest and other places, it's packed full of pictures. And so that actually is contrary to the whole point of a vision board, which is based on focus. And one of heaven's first laws, so speaking about universal laws, is order. So you want to have order on your board. You want to optimize the focus as well. You don't want to just throwing spaghetti at the wall. You don't just want to put as many pictures on there as possible and hope something happens. You're actually making a clear declaration. This is what I want. And you're choosing it in such a way that you're very intentional and declaring to the universe, and then obviously having the universe respond to what it is that you want. Secondly, I would recommend commitment so that you don't just pin it, or that I've heard some people that as it manifests, they remove it from the board, but you make a clear commitment to gluing it to your board. So that's another one of the ways that you can promote the law of attraction. Also, you want to, as I said, distinguish between goals and vision. So the goals come after you actually have the vision, because the vision, every image that you have on your board needs to provoke positive emotion, because it's the feeling that actually changes and affects the deep paradigms that we all have that impact our beliefs about the world around us. So you want to have an emotional composite with the images that are on your board. Now, what you probably will not have as a positive reaction and emotion is to money. So I recommend you do not put pictures of money on your board. Money might be part of your goal. It might be part of your affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn whatever, but your vision board is beyond the money. It has to do with what is it that's going to be funded with the money. And again, imagine yourself in that beautiful life. So that's a bit about some hot tips on how to create a powerful vision board.
Well, Debbie, thank you so much. I'm glad I asked that question because I don't know, for me also, there's just in the past, I read about, this process. I always found that there was a gap between, okay, the theory part and also the practice of vision boards. But there you go. There's a beautiful process that people go through, and it's very intentional so they can manifest, those things that they want in their lives. And it's science proved and back nowadays as well. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us as well. And amazing work that you also do for people because, yeah, I've seen firsthand the power of our brain, whether it's with our business goals or with our life goals or anything that we want to achieve. It's so important to kind of align with that. And Vision Boards is just another amazing tool that we get to kind of, utilize in our day to day. Thank you again. And we've actually reached the end of our summit today. And I want to go back to all our amazing speakers and actually thank them for their time and also for their beautiful heart-driven messages that they shared with us today. And I want to go back around everyone. And I have a final question for everybody, actually. And my final question today is to fill in the blanks. So the best advice and leadership I have received is, I'll go back to Jennifer.
Is to be yourself and know that you're whole and complete.
Beautiful. And Jennifer, where is it that people conversation with you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat? The dog is going crazy. What was the question?
Where is it that people can continue this conversation with you? Where can they connect with you further?
Sure. Thank you for asking, and thanks for putting this together at soullanguage.us. And I'm Soul Language across all social medias. So come on down and ask some questions. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here as well. And Michaela, same question for you. Best advice and leadership you've received is?
Lead, don't push. So leading by example and being able to do what you're asking others to do. Second piece is somebody has to have the vision. So are you looking at the water as you're paddling, or are you looking at the island that is your destination? Somebody needs to look up and have that vision. And I have a podcast that I'd love for people to check out. It's called Navigating Complicated Relationships, and it's on the Inspired Choices Network. So it's weekly. It's live on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And it's on 450 different platforms. So I'm sure you can find a way to listen to it. And I take requests for subjects. So thank you for having me here today. This has been lovely.
Beautiful work. Thanks again. Catherine?
So I would say leadership starts with self. So start with focusing on your self-leadership. And that's the place where you start leading others, because they will follow you through your example. And my website is www.katringalia.com. There is where you can find information about me and you can connect directly. I'm on Instagram at Katrin Galia Mindful Coach, Facebook Katrin Galia, and also on LinkedIn as Katrin Galia. So thank you for having me, and it's lovely to see all these wonderful women doing amazing work for a better world.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Debbie, your best leadership advice you've received is?
Well, I'm just thinking recent, it's be coachable. So as a leader yourself, be coachable, be curious, be open. Things are not always as they seem, and that there's possibilities, abundance, and leave everyone with the impression of increase. So that comes from Bob Proctor. And so that's my intention. I hope that happened here today, that the listeners and even the guests here, that everyone was left with the impression of increase. Yeah.
Beautiful. And where is it that people can continue this conversation with you? Where can they find your work, Debbie?
So I have a website where all my social media links are on, as well as my calendar. It's my name, Debbie, Debbi, Sluys, Sluys, or declare.com. And I also am starting a podcast actually on Monday, and launching it. And my first guest actually is Bob Proctor's son, Brian Proctor. And so he's going to share and talk about his book, My Dad Knew the Secret. And so really excited to launch that new podcast. It's going to be bi-weekly. I'm not as ambitious as you, Michaela, but yeah, I'm really excited because I'm going to be talking about manifestation. So manifestation giants are going to be sharing their manifestation secrets and stories. So I'm really excited.
Wow, way to launch an amazing project just like that. Amazing. And what's going to be the name of your podcast? How do we find it?
Yeah, you'll be able to find it on Spotify and on Apple, and it's under the same name, Dare to Declare.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing, Yannick. Oh, Yannick, you're muted.
I'm muted again. Oh, hi. Well, thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to share my passion. So, the best advice that I receive in leadership, and that's something that I find very useful, is to listen actively but be curious. Have a childlike curiosity and not have any assumption. Just be a vessel and receiving the information. We hear and see much more when we do it that way. So that was one of the best advice. And the other one that's true to me and that resonates a lot with me is be yourself. Just be your authentic self. There's only one of you, and you have a lot to offer. So be yourself and listen actively with a childlike curiosity. Makes good basis for a good leader in leadership.
Yeah, love that. And Yannick, where is it that people can continue this conversation with you as well?
I put the links on the chat, but you can find me at Yannick at chrysaliswomenempowerment.ca. That's my email, and it's linked to my website, Chrysalis Women Empowerment. And you can find me also on Facebook with my name, Yannick CE. It's on the link, and on LinkedIn as well.
All right, beautiful. Thanks again. And Avery.
Fingers crossed that I make it through this. Yes, so to quickly answer your question, I have two. I am a church kid through and through. My earliest memories were in church, and they are very, very fond ones. So one of the scriptures that I first really resonated with has been a mentorship scripture, if you will, and that is, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So when things are all over the place, I've owned several businesses. I actually just sold my spa Thursday of last week, and so we're in a whole other state getting ready to offer wellness, and it was very fearful, and I have to remind myself that I do not walk in fear, but of power and have love and have a sound mind. And then a culmination of mentors left me with that if you, as we know from Angela, Maya Angelou, to believe people when they show you who they are, believe them. That's good, bad, or indifferent, but that really speaks to honoring people's capacity and navigating accordingly. So yeah, I would say those things I live in too often. And if I had to leave one very quickly, if I had to leave one, it would be to breathe and remember the destination. Just breathe and remember where you're going. Again, I'm Dr. Avery Atkinson, known as Dr. A. I am Lady A Global across all social media. You can visit my website, averyatkinson.com. It can get you to me on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, IG, all of those. Thank you guys. It was really nice to be here.
All right, Avery, I got to have you back because we didn't hear not even a tiny part of that message. I got to have you back, and I will get all your links. Don't worry, and we'll connect everyone with you as well. And that's actually one of the use of us coming together, connect with one another. We'll tag you, connect you everywhere. This is just that beginning of some of you that have not met before. I see that some of you have connected. Definitely connect and continue to nurture these relationships and offer service. But for me, personally, the best advice I've received around is be of service to others. That is the one of most important values that I follow every day. So thank you also all to all of you that have been in service to our community today. And we've actually reached the end of our summit. You know where to find us on all our social media channels, and also our YouTube channel. And also, if you are a speaker and you are brave enough to come and share your message and story without no scripts or preparation, I don't believe in that, because if you're an expert with, in what you do, and also you have a story from your heart, any preparation, the best things that we need as humans is real-time connection. Our life school door is always open for you. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in one of our future events. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. I would invite you to join us as the community expert at the Life School Global Community. As a community expert, you will be participating in our monthly speaking events that we host for our community. You'll be an ongoing contributor to our global magazine. You will be warmly connected and introduced to other purpose-driven CEOs and entrepreneurs. You'll also be connected to amazing speaking opportunities, paid and also free speaking opportunities with other amazing communities. And this way, you'll increase your brand and visibility. You will build trust faster. But most importantly, you'll be part of our community that's always growing in over 30,000 entrepreneurs on our social media channels, and also on our large contact list and network, and also with our partnering high-level communities of entrepreneurs and business leaders. I would like you to go right underneath the website on this video at Elona Lopari Coaching/events to find out more information on what this offer entails, and also if this is the right fit for you. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the other side as our community member.